tip friends. My name is Constance and this is Cruelty Free Musings. Welcome back to my channel and to a Project Pan update. This is the Partners in Cream Project Pan, started by Steph Lyons and Dalin of Panning and Stuff. No, Dalin of Outward Processing. Her Instagram is Panning and Stuff, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, they started it, they opened it up. It's a giant collaborative project pan that you can find more people updating if you search the hashtag Partners in Cream. And the main rule is that all of the things in the project have to be cream products. The concept being, we like to pan things. It's easy to hit pan in cream items because they smush, but they also go bad. So if we don't have a project pan where we're focusing on it, where we give ourselves permission, chances are some of our stuff's gonna go bad before we can use it. So let's not let that happen. Alright. And general guidelines anywhere from 3 up to however many you feel like most people are doing in the 3 to 5, 4 to 6 range. Let's jump into my specific update. I have 5 items and this is a rolling project pan, so if I hit my goal or decide that I'm done with something, then I roll it out and roll something else in its place, so I'm always at 5 items. Alright, now let's jump in to the update. I have my tally sheet here because it's not actually that difficult to use a tally sheet. Alright, so I am very behind. I completely missed updating in the month of July. Today is August 10th, and I will be editing this and uploading it immediately after, and it's still probably not going to go live until the 11th. But oh well. So this is update 6 and 7 together for Partners in Cream. The reason that I didn't update in July is because I kind of didn't wear makeup in June or July. And then I was like, I don't really want to update. It's like this massive hurdle. If you're not wearing makeup, then putting on makeup to record a video seems like an impossible hurdle. Whereas if you put on makeup in the morning, it's a small thing to touch up at the end of the day and record a video. Even if you're doing it after the end of a day of work, which I am today. So I just didn't record really at all in July. And then I recorded some in the first bit of August, and I haven't edited any of them. So look for more of those later. Alright. But getting into the actual updates 6 and 7. Item the first, this is a ColourPop Super Shock Shadow. This is in the shade Frog. I have noticed, I have not worn this a whole ton, but you might be able to tell from what I just did there that I smushed it up a lot. It's quite dry. I'm not really able to pick it up with my favorite brush. You can see from the swatch that it is quite sheer and very glittery. So I really like the effect, but I haven't worn it a lot. I have worn it 4 times in the 2 months that I am updating for, and yeah, I'm clearly nowhere near pan. Most of the pattern is still in place, and this is partly just because I need to use my finger. My goal with my Super Shock shadows, as always, there's a little raised nubbin in the center of the pan. So my goal is to wear it down evenly to the point that that entire nubbin is exposed. Nowhere near that. We'll see how it goes. I feel like I need to kick it up a notch on this particular one because I do think it is drying out. Alright, next item. This is the J-Cat Pris-metal Mousse. This is in the shade Champagne Whiz, and you can see that I have quite a little cavern there, but no pan. I have worn this 9 times. I'm wearing it today. And I have observed as I've been wearing it that it is less pink than I remembered it being from, like, if I'm looking at it in some angles, I can see why it looked pink to me when I first grabbed it, but sheared out over the curve of my eye, it ends up looking very peachy and sparkly, and it's a very basic all over lid color. I do find that it creases a little bit, not to the extent that Sorcerer, which is the purple that I was working on before this, creased, but the color gathers. The sparkles stay in place, it's weird, but the color gathers in my eyelid folds, so I still have to wear it with primer. My eyelids are just like that. It doesn't matter what eyelid item I am wearing, I have to be wearing eyelid primer also. It's just a thing. But you can see that from the use number and from the nice little curve that I have been using it and enjoying it 9 times. Quite a lot for, I mean, it's 2 months, but still quite a lot. Like, I feel like I wore over the last 2 months makeup about as many times as I did in a normal month previous to that. And I wore Champagne Whiz around double the amount that I wore any of the individual single shadows that I had pulled in let's say in last month's update. Now in the previous month I did wear Birthday Wish a comparable amount. I really like that one, and I was trying real hard to hit pan on that one. Alright, item number 3. This is my Stila Glitter and Glow eyeshadow. My goal for this was to use it up or use it to the point that it starts being painful, and we are to the point that it is painful. Let me see if I can get a good swatch that'll like demonstrate how it applies. Okay, so this is a good example of how it applies. You can see that there's some nice shiny reflect there, right? But then if you go at an angle, which I use this mostly for darkening the outer corner of my eye, so there is like a good bit of, you're seeing the angle of my eye, you can see that it looks super patchy. And it is painful, actively painful, to drag it on my eyelid enough to get it built up. You can see that if I can get it built up, it's gorgeous and super sparkly from every angle. But this is how it actually applies onto my eye. And I pulled out the stopper so that you could see. Let me block off my face. So maybe you can kind of see. It's going to be a little bit difficult because it's going to try and focus on my fingers and not the inside of the little bottle. But maybe you can see that there is a very tiny amount just at the bottom of the bottle. So we're to the point that it is actively difficult for me to pick up enough onto this little wand to apply an opaque layer onto my eyes. And then there's the issue that I've always had with this, which is that it blends out horribly. Like, it doesn't blend. It really does not blend. So I am calling it. I have a rule. I don't make myself use things that I hate, that I put on and I'm like, I kind of just want to take it off. If I have that reaction, I don't have to use it. So this is sadly falling into that category for me. These really don't have a lot of life in them, these Stila glitter and glows. Like, they're really pretty, but man, that's a super short lifespan. I like it. I'm glad that I got some use out of it. Let me tell you how much I used it. I used it 3 times in the last 2 months. So not a lot. Enough to have the firm realization that I was avoiding using it because every time I put it on, I was like, I hate how that looks. Which is not the feeling that I want out of my makeup. So I'm calling it done. There's a tiny amount left. I had to rehydrate it. I had this experience with the other one, with Sea Siren, where it went horrible and patchy no matter what I did. And I told myself I'm not going to make myself use it past pulling out the stopper. I did it with Fairy Tale anyway, and I hated it. So, lesson learned, just don't buy the Stila glitter and glows. Should not be a difficulty. Alright, that's on my hand until I take off my makeup, which won't be in that long because it is 7. Alright, item number 4 to update. This is my ABH Dipbrow. This is in the color Taupe. I'm not gonna swatch it because it's just a brow pomade. It's basically the color of my brows. You can see that I've used it a decent little amount. I used it 8 times over the last 2 months, which is quite respectable. Like, my average, like, it's pretty similar to the amount that I use any other individual eyeshadow product, maybe a little bit more. So, it's not like I'm going to put this on every single time I wear makeup like I do with highlighter most of the time. Like, it's really easy for me to pan highlighter because I love being shiny. This is not that level. I'm not ever going to be the person who feels incomplete without her brows done. I don't have them done today, for example. But I am using it a respectable amount. I used it 8 times this month, or 8 times the last 2 months, plus 7 times the update before that. This is a use goal, not a hit pan on or use up goal. And my use goal is 30, so I am halfway there. 8 plus 7 for the first month that I had it in is 15. Halfway. So probably in 2 months I'll be able to roll it out. I'm assuming that I'll probably keep it at roughly the same pace. But I have learned a little bit about how I like to shape my brows as a result of using that. So Lessons learned. Alright, last item to update on. This is the ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in Flower Shop. It is a black and teal. You can see that I have a little dent there in the middle, but the texture is still on all the way around the outside. Yes, it does indeed focus. And I will just give you a swatch. It is a fairly sheer black and teal, but if I apply it with my favorite Super Shock shadow brush, or actually, I have just discovered this brush. This is at the same time that I got the Alter Ego Sunset dupe, Aurora, or Sunrise dupe. I got the brush set because I really wanted more brushes, and I was like, they're highly rated, let's try them. So this number 4, this is a flat shader brush. This is incredible for picking up things like cream shadows, like the Super Shock shadows. So this super flat little brush, you can see that it's blue because the last shadow that I used it with was this one. So yeah, this brush, relatively new discovery in the last 2 months. Really like how this applies. So applied with a finger, this shadow is super sheer, but let's just pick up a decent amount with my brush. You can see that I got a good amount on there, enough for, and this is going to be awkward because this is my offhand. Alright, so we got some crumbles there, and I'm having to pick up and repack. But you can see that that turns a much more substantial color, and it's kind of a murky green because I feel like maybe there's some other color in addition to this. Black and teal on my brush, it turned kind of foresty. But you can see that you get like a good amount of color with a brush versus with a finger. It's a lot easier to apply this shade full opacity with a brush. So that is how I like using it. I have not used it a lot, twice in fact, in the last 2 months, and before that I used it 3 times. So I've used it 5 times plus a couple of swatches. I'll hit pan eventually. It's gonna be a long haul, that one. I'll probably hit pan on Frog, despite Frog being less used. Just because it's an easier color to actually use. So, alright, so that's my updates. That is all of that. So let's move on to the very exciting business. Since I rolled something out, I get to roll something in. And dun dun dun, I decided to roll in a concealer. The only rule for this project is that it has to be makeup and it has to be cream or liquid, and this concealers definitely count. This is a super thick concealer. It's quite sticky, quite wet. It's a fine concealer, it's a fine shade match. This is the shade 10 and Fair. And yeah, I don't know, I like it, it's fine. I don't pan things that I hate. See the Stila Glitter and Glow that I am rolling out. But I have no idea how much I've used, and I have no idea how long it will take me to use this up if I don't focus on it. So, adding it into my project to be another pan concealer. This is the main concealer that I'm using right now. This is the No Filter Concealer in my New Decade Project pan. It was brand new when I rolled it in. You can see that I am down to the dregs with this one. So it will be good to have another concealer to alternate with that one and to switch to once that one is used up. I thought that maybe I could get an idea of how far down this was by holding it up against my light, but no, the tube is just glowing. I have no idea where the product is. There is this little, like, I don't know if it's gonna focus on the tube, but there's like a little hairline crack down below the label. Oh, I don't think I said this is the Tarte Creaseless Concealer. So down below the words Creaseless Concealer, there's a little crack or something that looks like a hair or something. I don't know what that is. I tried when I decided that I was going to roll this in to get like some kind of window or move around the concealer inside. No idea. Just legitimately no idea how much concealer I've used out of this. But I did weigh it, and the starting weight is 26 grams. Let's see what the net weight is. The net weight is 6.4 grams. So, I don't know. I don't know what the starting weight of one of these tubes was, but I know that right now with the amount that I've used it, it's 26 grams. And I'll keep tracking the weight and we'll see what it ends up being at the end of this project once I decide that I'm going to roll it out. I have the feeling that I have not used this very much because, as I mentioned, I don't really like it. I don't reach for it without a compelling reason to do so, like it's in a Shop My Stash or it's in a project pan. So I'm giving myself a reason to reach for it. And that is it. I hope you enjoyed or learned something or both. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you feel like, and goodbye for now.